Gold team, we are back. I have Russ Miller with me from New American Funding. We're going to talk a little bit about the market, a little bit about whatever else Russ has got on his mind. So Russ, welcome in, my man.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you. It's been a minute.
Good to see you. And I think you're honoring the Albert Pujols run here in August and September. So
700.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're also moving a couple new people into offices today. So that's kind of why I'm dressed down a little bit. So
I told you earlier, I see you look like a Hollywood producer.
If I only knew how to produce movies, that is. Yeah.
So things have changed a lot since we got together last for our little tip of the month. The market is different. What do you think? What's going on?
Well, doom and gloom. Yeah. Inflation, highest levels. I'm just looking at my charts over here. We are literally, so every single day of the week since about September 8th, the economists that I follow have opened up with, it's officially the highest interest rates we've seen in 14 years. So I hear that every single day since September 8th, but I mean, how long will it last? Probably till inflation peaks out here, maybe in October, November, you know, and whether or not we're in a recession right now, we're probably headed into one. It's inevitable. So I
mean, definition wise, we're in a recession.
We are. Oh, definition wise, we're totally in a recession. I mean, you're starting to see energy.
But you know, one of the things that one of the things that was I saw some people talking about the other day, I forget where it was, but do you think, I mean, we're not looking at 18%, 20% interest rates that we were looking at about 40 years ago.
No.
42, 43 years ago. But it's different than what everybody's used to.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, these are the highest rates in 14 years. The first time home buyers today, what, 25 years old, 30 years old, they were in middle school.
Right.
So they weren't paying attention to interest rates back when they were in
middle school. And you and I were like 14 or 15.
I was 16. I was 16. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, this is the highest inflation that people has ever seen in, I mean, 40 years, you know. So these are unprecedented times. And we were saying this just a short 2 years ago during COVID. Hey, unprecedented times, you know, we saw the interest rate spike 1.5% in one day.
Right.
That was back in March of 2020. And we didn't even know how to price loans back then. But there's relief on the way. I mean, we're probably going to see, inflation should peak out in October, November. So basically you run a 12-month average of inflation, and inflation last August was at 0.6%. When we drop that off and move forward, that 0.6 goes away. And I think you see inflation come down a little bit starting October, well into next year. And I think 6 months from now, what's that put us into? Spring? I think it's a different market, you know. Home prices cooling off, would you say? Right. Not as many buyers out there for the same house, right? Not as much competition. We're not driving home prices up like we have been. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to see price reductions. Yeah,
home prices have flattened, right?
You flattened. Now, I don't think you're going to see those receipts. I don't think you're going to see depreciation. I just don't think you're going to see the crazy appreciation. So I think you'll see home prices hold steady, but interest rates then come down a bit, which increases buying power. I had a conversation with a client today that just wants to hold off until next spring. And that's kind of like the plan that we came up with, because he'll have more buying power at that time. I mean, 1% interest rate's huge for your buying power. Yeah. You know, so I'm talking to a lot of folks. They're surprised when they see what's out there for the amount of money. You know, I mean, $250,000 doesn't get you what it used to just 3 years ago.
No, totally different. Totally different.
But I mean, peak inflation here in the next month or two, and then I think you start to see rates come back down a little bit, and then probably improve pretty much next year to where all these folks getting into 5.5%, 6.5% over the last 18 months. It's a good opportunity to refinance.
Well, I think it was Elizabeth Wolf, one of our agents, said, date the rate, marry the house.
Marry the house and date the rate, right? easy to break up with that interest rate.
Exactly.
Easy. Yeah. And it doesn't take as long as a divorce. Shoot, what's a refi?
Right.
3 weeks, 3 weeks?
3 or
So,
4
I mean,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah. Divorce that rate. We'll get you through that in 3 weeks. But yeah, so I think you're going to see some decent interest rates here toward the end of the year, going into next year. Decent being better than where they are today.
So you see the next market when the market picks, the housing market traditionally picks up in the spring, that you're going to see some decrease in inflation, decrease in interest rates, and you're going to have more of a traditional run in the housing market.
Don't you see that shift somewhat going away from the seller side already?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you have what we had the last couple of years, where a total seller's market, where if you weren't coming to the table with cash,
Yep.
you were out.
And I don't think cash is going away. That's why we're still using our cash buyer program. I don't think that'll ever go away, because that's still good. We can use the cash program so a client doesn't have to go contingent upon selling.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to see that as the predominant, oh, I lost out to cash again.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see a buyer's market next spring. I don't know that it will be a buyer's market, but transitioning into a buyer's market, cooling home prices and lower interest rates are just setting up to be an exciting spring.
So really, I mean, what we're going to have is probably just an equally balancing out. I mean, it's been like this, and we're going to balance it out a little bit so that everybody's got a seat at the table.
I'm excited to get through the winter and see where it is next spring. Yep. But I've got a couple interesting new programs, if I can throw that out there.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we are obviously a lender that services their own loans. We offer a 3-2-1 buy down. Have you ever heard of a 3-2-1 buy down?
I have heard of that.
Yeah. So basically, for your listing agents who are listening, a seller could offer their buyer a 3-2-1 buy down. Well, we have a 1-1 buy down, a 1-1-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down. And if any of your agents want to call and talk to me in detail about what the program is, quick 10-minute phone call, but I'll give you in a nutshell. Let's say interest rates are 6% today. You start out at 3% year one, goes up to 4% year two, 5% year three, and it's 6% from year 4 through 30. Okay, and let's just throw something out hypothetically. Let's say in year one, they save $200 a month times 12. That's $2,400 a month savings in year one. Again, hypotheticals. We can work real numbers if you want to call. $100 a month, let's say they save in year two. That's $1,200 a year. Let's say they save $50 a month in year three. So that's a total of $4,200 in savings, just in payments those first 3 years. Well, as opposed to the seller dropping the price of their home, why don't they offer their buyer a buy down to pay a seller paid buy down, as opposed to dropping a huge price reduction? Hey, buyer, what if you could get into my house for 3% interest rate? Give that a whirl. Now there is a cost. Obviously, it's easy. You just add up the savings, and that's the cost of the buy down. Right. And again, these are hypothetical numbers, but I was just wanting to get that that visual.
Yeah, no, I mean, it allows you to come in the back door of the deal and still get the deal.
Yep. Different way of marketing that, or as opposed to making a major price reduction. Hey, throw that out. See how that works over the weekend.
Do you think, Russ, that you're going to see, I know that there's a lot more people talking about adjustable adjustable rate mortgages. Is that something that,
we're getting asked more and more about it. Yeah. Well, you might have 6.25 on a 30-year fixed, where you could be about 5.5 on a 5 or a 7-year arm. That's a decent amount of time to be fixed. 7-year arms are ended up pricing out a little better than 5 years today. So to be fixed for 84 months, that's pretty solid. I mean, historically, people don't keep their mortgages for longer than 5 to 7 years anyway. Right.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, if you're going to lock in, and you're not going to, that's not your forever home. Maybe that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. But no, we're getting asked more and more and more about ARMs. So yeah, that's a good option. Thanks for bringing that up. We also have, for self-employed individuals, a P&L program. You literally put your profit and loss statement together, and it doesn't have to be audited. CPA signs it and says, yeah, that looks about right. We go by that P&L income. We don't require tax returns.
That's interesting. Can you go over that again? How does that work?
It's a portfolio. We have to broker it out, and it's one of our brokers' portfolios. the consumer puts a P&L together.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my profits. Here's my losses. Here's my income. Okay. It's signed by their CPA. Okay.
Okay.
If it's close, great. Doesn't have to be audited because audits are very expensive on a P&L. We'll literally go by that P&L as income. Now the interest rates, last one I priced out about 2 weeks ago was 6.99, higher interest rate, charging 2 points.
Okay.
So, but it is something and I'm literally,
It's an option.
It's an option. I've got one going right now. A friend of mine from college is selling her condo out in California, wanting to relocate completely to the other side of the state of Florida. She's using this program. As her, she's been a health coach for 5 years that just writes off everything, Brent, doesn't show the income. So I explained to her, Bev, hey, if you want to get out of this eventually when interest rates call for it, let's come in with a strong tax return 1 year. Yes, you're going to have some tax liability, but then let's get you into a traditional loan and then go back to filing tax returns the next year the way you always have.
Right.
You know, but it's a great tool to get someone in that's self-employed that, you know, they don't want to pay the taxes.
Sure. No,
so
I mean,
their adjusted gross on paper doesn't qualify, but we can get them there, you know.
I like that.
There's some pretty cool mortgages coming out. We've got that 3-2-1 buy down. We're still doing the cash buyer program. And if people could just get through these crazy times with these higher interest rates, we will come out a lot nicer here, probably coming into even at the end of this year into next spring.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that's kind of where we're going. And we got to get past this election year or of November, which I think that kind of also puts everything in limbo, where people are waiting, looking, seeing what's going to happen, who's going to be there. And that kind of stuff does make a difference too. I think once you get past that and everybody knows how the playing field's set, then I think the market sets better.
So here we go. Perfect timing. I just got an alert to lock. My cell phone's going off and my computer's dinging.
Yep.
So the bond market's down 87 basis points, which is huge. Alert to lock is flashing on my screen. So yes, we're going to get another price increase today.
Yeah.
It's been happening on the daily since September 8th. We'll get through it though.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like these different programs you threw out there too, because I mean, being creative is how you get through it.
Yeah, and they're not the sexiest interest rates, but I'll tell you what, business owners understand it. Hey, I saved thousands of dollars in taxes over here. I'm going to pay a little bit more for my mortgage now.
Right.
You know, and it's a way to get you into a house with a decent program.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's what you want.
You bet.
All right, Russ, it's good stuff. Thanks for getting on here with me to give a little bit of your feedback knowledge of what you think's going on.
Well,
it's always good for the agents.
It's always good to see you guys.
Hey, and if anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they get you?
I mean, easiest way is to text or call 314-853-7877.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, Russ Miller, New American Funding, Gold Agents. Check it out.
Thank you, Gold Agents. Thanks, Brent.